Bones and All came out today. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival back months ago, and I've been excited for this movie for a few weeks. It wasn't one of those that I was going out and dying to see, but I was quite excited for this because it's from the director, or more so the team of Call Me By My Name, of course, the same director and same lead actor, Timothée Chalamet, and the premise of this movie is very interesting. It's a little bit of a love story with a bit of a twist with these characters, and I was very interested to see how this was going to play out. If you've seen it, let me know already what you think of it below, because honestly, I love this film. I think it is one of the best films of this year. It made me feel like no other film this year. I don't think I've ever felt the same way after watching any other movie, and I think that's the best way to describe this film. So it stars Taylor Russell and Timothée Chalamet, as I mentioned before, and Taylor Russell is an actor who I'm not familiar with, but of course Timothée Chalamet, he's great. When talking about Call Me By My Name, I haven't seen it in a few years, but I have watched it. I think, of course, it's a brilliant, gorgeous movie. It is a little bit too slow and really drags on for me at times, but, by the end, it's just like tears and everything, so it's pretty emotional. And this one was an interesting one because I was like, how is this director, and I'm not saying his name on purpose because I don't know how to pronounce it properly, how is he going to tackle this subject? And it's a little bit funny because of the Armie Hammer stuff, but still, I'm gonna put that aside in this review. And I just thought he did a wonderful job. Maybe the odd time, the only complaint I would have with this movie is that sometimes in the middle act, it seemed to lose focus or like slightly go off the rails, where it's like, okay, we could have cut like maybe 2 scenes from the movie, but that's it. I think this movie is absolutely phenomenal, and a lot of it comes down to the direction. Right from the opening scene and sequence, really, I was very invested. The camera work is gorgeous. That's something I will definitely talk about later on, but just there's a clear focus on family and the deeper themes of this movie, which is a discussion for a whole other video, let's be honest. But I was just invested from the first frame here, and then as the film progresses and you find out more about these characters, which is definitely the most interesting part of this film, I just thought that really he never lost a sense of where this film is going. Plus, there are so many twists and turns through this movie. Anytime you think you know where it's going, it totally changes up on you, and I love that. And this was adapted from a book that was written in 2015. I'm not at all familiar with it, so again, I had no idea where this was going. So after certain sequences, I was just like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next. And as I kind of mentioned there before, there are so many things here that really mean something else. This means family. This is a relationship. This is used for that. Like, so many things that when the movie ended, I was like, I didn't even think of that before. Or like, I saw it with my girlfriend, and I was scared she wasn't going to like it because I was like, oh, it's probably like an artsy type movie. And it is, but it's one of those, it's just like, when it finishes, I'm just like overcome with just all these different feelings, and I don't know how to explain it. A little funny story with this movie. There were a few other people in the theater, I think about 5 others, but halfway through the movie, these 2 girls left who were like teenager, and they came over to my girlfriend while I was in the bathroom before the movie, and they're like, is this the new Timothée Chalamet movie? And she's like, yes, and it kind of shows they were just here for him, and then they left after some pretty disgusting stuff in the movie, which was kind of funny, I thought. But honestly, this is a movie that you definitely have to be able to watch some gross stuff, I will say, some violent stuff to enjoy this movie. But if you understand why it's there, you're going to have a whole other appreciation for the movie. And one of the other reasons I was super excited for this film is because of who did the score. Of course, that is my man, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, the 9 Inch Nails guy. Well, Trent Reznor and then Atticus has been an official member since I think 2016. They did the score here, and honestly, they're some of the best in the business right now to rely on it. And maybe I'm a little bit biased because of how much I love Trent Reznor, but still, the score here was so beautiful. It added a whole new level of just somberness, and it really grabbed my attention. Again, maybe that's just because I knew it was those 2 that did the score, so I was kind of looking for it more. But there's this repeating set of notes that happened throughout the whole movie, and it really just added this feel to the entire film, and it really hit me. And then by the end, there's a song that's performed that's really great, and I don't want to go too much into it, but just the way it's used and the placement of it in the film was so well done. It's one of my favorite scores of this year, 100%. And of course, I have to talk about the acting. It is probably the best thing about this movie, or at least one of them for sure. Taylor Russell, again, as an actor who I'm not familiar with, was absolutely phenomenal in the leading role. I felt like I've seen her in 10 movies now because of this performance. Her range is just incredible from scene to scene. It isn't like she starts off slow and then gets really like big towards the end. Like, no, it changes in every single scene. And since her character is put in so many difficult situations, I just thought the way she expressed it was amazing. And of course, Timothée Chalamet once again killed it as Lee in this movie, somebody who has some secrets, obviously, and as the film starts to reveal some of them and contain some of them, I just thought the way he very subtly portrayed that was so great. And also Mark Rylance is in this movie for very crucial moments, and I thought that he just did a fantastic job. He was off-putting, but also so interesting, and there's so many things, like all the actors, of course, but are great, but you know, you're watching this movie for the lead characters, and of course the writing is just amazing. It all just feels so real and genuine. As I said, I had no idea where this movie was going to go. I really highly recommend you go out and see it. It is gorgeous. The cinematography, just again from that opening scene, when it started, I was like, yes, this is the type of movie I wanted, with the smooth camera work. But then in certain other scenes, the camera is 100% being held by one person and is just getting shaken around, and it all fits the entire vibe of the movie, for lack of a better term. And I mean, it was gorgeous. Of course, all the nature shots and the sunsets and sunrises look great, but I just mean the close-ups and the background being blurred, the low f-stop type stuff. It was mind-blowing. I thought this movie was absolutely phenomenal. You should go out and see it as soon as you can, if you can handle a bit of violence. Bones and All is thematically rich, beautifully presented, and wonderfully acted. The score by Ross and Reznor brings a whole new level of vulnerability to this already stunning film. Taylor Russell, Timothée Chalamet, and Mark Rylance are all so contained, which is exactly what I needed. This is a quiet, subtle film that creeps up on you and bites you when you least expect it. I'm going to give Bones and All a 4.5 out of 5. This film blew me away. You should go see it as soon as possible. And it didn't blow me away and like, wow, that was such a great scene. It was just so subtle, so contained, as I said there. And by the end, as I mentioned way earlier on, I don't think I've ever felt this way after a movie before. And that is one of the biggest compliments. So if you've seen the film, let me know what you think of it down below, or if you plan to watch it. And thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. Over and out.